knowing that they needed a certain level of comfort to hear these types of descriptions. It was very emotional and really tough to hear, bro.
Is there any message for the alleged victims? Do you apologize on behalf of your father? Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still convince your father during that testimony?
Initially, the three Combs sisters came to the trial to support their father emotionally. But less than an hour later, they got up, gave each other a tight hug, and sobbed as they left the courtroom. What exactly was captured? On the video that even Diddy's own daughters couldn't watch?
Probably the most important piece of evidence because it sets the stage when we're talking about coercion or fraud or force.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
Give us the space.
The prosecutor claims that the video is crucial evidence revealing a web of accusations against Diddy and secrets connected to his family. In Manhattan federal court, the air was still before the trial started when Cassie showed a previously undisclosed video. ALLEGEDLY recording footage from a contentious SOF that held the key to the allegations against Diddy, just minutes after the video started. Delilah frantically covered her twin sister Jessie Chance's and Justin's eyes. But they were unable to take their eyes off the screen when the image of a familiar woman appeared. This was officially acknowledged as evidence, and the Combs family members' gazes grew heavy as if they knew they were about to face something irreversible. Porter, Kim, and
on those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids and
the puzzle of what was shown in that video and why the 3 of them turned and fled on their initial visit to support Diddy remains. Whispers from the audience spread quickly, like a wave of sound rising in the silent courtroom, and then they all left without saying anything.
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes, something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Prosecutor Rachel Harper.
The prosecutor, as she started, a middle-aged woman with silver hair neatly tied back in thin-framed glasses, rose from the prosecution's table. Her voice was deliberate but commanding, like the steady beat of a drum announcing a momentous event. She looked directly at Cassie and asked the court to describe what has been your part in those incidents. Cassie took a deep breath. Alex, who was sitting close by. His steady gaze acted as an anchor, and she pressed her lips together before speaking, in a low, determined voice that sounded as though every word had been carefully considered. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her response.
In 2005, I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom. It was
about a year after we started dating. He introduced me to what he called the freakout. He claimed it was a way to relax and explore new boundaries. But for me, it was like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the jury as if to make sure they understood the seriousness of what she was about to reveal.
Is a freak off. The freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs.
He enjoyed watching me with others, Cassie said, her voice trembling as she recalled the traumatic memories. But it wasn't just watching. He dictated everything. What I wore, how the room was lit, what acts were performed. Even the amount of baby oil we had to apply so he could have complete control over the freak-offs. Cassie described the freak-offs as carefully planned events that Diddy orchestrated and called voyeurism. Our bodies would shine in a way that pleased him. Her eyes were locked on the jurors. And her voice was getting sharper as she described that Diddy made her buy a few dresses from specialty stores. And he would personally decide which ones she had to wear. If I didn't agree, he would threaten me, leaving me feeling stuck and helpless.
Relationship goes, if it's something that you didn't want to share and it's your secret, it's your secret. I do believe in karma.
Cassie claimed that freak-offs were more than just short events. They frequently lasted anywhere from 36 to 72 hours. She spoke with a trembling voice as she explained the extreme fatigue she and other participants experienced, saying one time a freak-off stretched to 4 days. They happened weekly, like a mandatory part of my life. In her account of her forced involvement in planning these gatherings, she stated that I had to locate individuals via professional services or Craigslist. Eyes lowered as though mortified. By her behavior, I planned their trip to destinations like Miami. Abia Cassie explained that Diddy controlled not only the participants, but also the environments where the freak-offs took place. He directed the lighting in the room, telling her that at first it was candles creating a false sense of romance. But later, he switched to a professional stage lighting as though we were acting in a movie that he was the only director of, she explained. How Diddy planned every aspect of the performance, from the participants' movements to the particular acts he wanted to see. He even insisted on using illegal drugs to make everyone more at ease. Her voice was choking as she said, "I remember. Once before a freak out, I had to text him to ask which pill I should take from your bag. And he replied telling me exactly which one."
Each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was a matter of
Trial culminated when Cassie's lawyer, Samantha Klein, a woman with a sharp gaze and neatly tied brown hair, stood up and asked to play a video. "Your Honor," Klein said, her voice ringing clearly, "we request permission to present evidence of a freak-off from 2018 labeled as the White Party Archive." The courtroom held its breath as all eyes were fixed on the large screen in the corner as the screen flickered to life. The first image showed a lavish seaside mansion, with neon lights pulsing through the night, palm trees swaying in the breeze, and figures moving in a chaotic blur with electronic music thumping and laughter. Hazy noises. The film showed the glitzy underbelly of Diddy's so-called white parties, which were events where models, celebrities, and business people gathered to enjoy a rich lifestyle. Well-known faces: a model in a glittering outfit, a pop star with platinum-dyed hair, and a businessman in a white suit, all seemed to be involved in unethical behavior and other compromising acts, such as using illegal drugs. Cassie, from the witness stand, went on to explain her involvement in the oppressive atmosphere of the video, which seemed to be a universe where all norms had been abolished and power and want were paramount. "The freaks, I wasn't just a participant," she said, her gaze steadfast but revealing a hint of agony. "I was forced to organize everything from recruiting people to ensuring they arrived at the right place at the right time. I worked under his direction, but I didn't want to. I was afraid that if I refused, he would release compromising videos of me as a means of controlling those involved." She disclosed that Diddy often recorded the freak-offs and achieved them. "He claimed those videos were his insurance," she added, her voice shaking. "If I didn't comply with his wishes, he would release them to the public, destroying my life and reputation."
And my life.
And in her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to do it.
It's so difficult to hear all of these details.
When a new scene on the screen emerged, the courtroom stopped. showed a woman sitting on a couch, her face shockingly clear, her eyes empty as if she was not aware that she was being videotaped. Delilah and Jesse, the twins who had attempted to put on a show of strength, sat still, their faces as pale as wax, while Kim Porter, the late mother of Delilah and Jesse Chance, covered her mouth in the front row, her shaking hands revealing her horror. Their eyes darted toward Diddy with a mixture of panic, anguish, and unfathomable betrayal before locking onto their mother's image on the screen. The image of Kim Porter with her vacant gaze and confused demeanor was more than just a moment in the video. It was a silent accusation that exposed the depths of Diddy's manipulative system. Delilah's fingers dug into Jesse's hand tightly, as if anchoring her sister against collapse. Once strong and independent, Kim appeared in a near-conscious state, as if she had been pulled into a world where she didn't belong. Her appearance in the freak-off footage sparked a darker suspicion in addition to raising questions about her role in these events. Was Kim's 2018 death from pneumonia really an accident, or was it the result of an intervention to keep her quiet about Diddy's secret?
Went down and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her.
Diddy lost his temper and slammed the table and tipped back his chair with a piercing scream. "Stop the video." His eyes were burning red, and he yelled, "My children are here. You can't do this." However, Jesse's suppressed. Sobs, which were soft but sharp, cut through the air like a knife, drowning out his outburst. Her eyes shot bloodshots, and she sprang to her feet, dragging her trembling twin sisters out of the courtroom. The sound of Jesse and Delilah's cries reverberated from the hallway, a haunting lament that shook the room. A juror bowed. A reporter in the back row shook their head and whispered to a colleague, "This isn't just a trial, it's a tragedy," with their palm over their mouth and eyes full of sadness. As if to calm the raw pain that had just erupted when they saw their mother on screen, Delilah clung to Jesse in the chilly courthouse hallway. Her blank, strange eyes had pierced their hearts, shattering the fond memories of Kim Porter, the woman who had always protected and loved them. Delilah thought back to the nights when their mother singing lullabies. Her soft voice provided solace during life's storms. With tears in her eyes, Jessica could only mutter, "Why was Mom there?" A question remained unanswered, and the only response was misery and a growing mistrust of the father they had once looked up to. Neither of them could accept the idea that Diddy, who had always claimed to love them unconditionally, might have lured their mother into a sinister world and possibly contributed to her demise.
We are about to play the freak-off videos, and guess who's sitting front row?
Diddy's lawyer. Is it possible that you voluntarily participated in these freak-offs to secure your place in Mr. Combs's world? Victor Langston, a tall man with salt and pepper hair and a voice like rolling thunder, rose to counter Miss Ventura. He started his questioning gaze fixed on Cassie. "You've described these events as if you were a victim with no agency whatsoever. But let's consider the context. You signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Entertainment, lived in luxury apartments, traveled the world, and attended lavish events." An arrow making Cassie hesitate for a moment. She inhaled deeply, her eyes briefly locking with Alex's, drawing strength from his presence. "No," Cassie said, her voice sharpening her gaze. "I didn't choose. I was coerced. What I received wasn't a reward. It was the price I paid to survive." He controlled everything, including my career, friends, and thoughts. I had no choice but to comply with his demands, because if I didn't, I would lose everything. Her words reverberated throughout the courtroom like a declaration, causing a few jurors to nod subtly with sympathetic eyes. "Miss Ventura, did you ever work with others like Miss Kim Porter to carry out these freak-offs at Mr. Combs' behest? Were you and Miss Porter willing participants enjoying the lifestyle Mr. Combs provided?" The question sent shivers through the courtroom when Langston pressed on, his tone lowering as if trying to lure Cassie into a trap. The mention of Kim Porter, the late mother of Dilla and Jesse, cut like a razor, reopening the raw pain the Combs family was trying to hide. Cassie shook her head, a flash of anguish in her eyes. "No," she said, her voice trembling, "but like me, firm Kim was imprisoned. We weren't complicit. We were victims of the same system. He made us feel like there was no way out, as if everything we had our careers, our families, our reputations depended on pleasing him." Even though Diddy stayed sitting, his discomfort was evident as her words stabbed like a razor. His gaze darted to the vacant chairs where his children had sat, as though seeking some small comfort in their absence, as a finger tapped restlessly on the table. The appearance of the film with Kim Porter, and not only did Cassie's damning testimony damage Diddy's reputation, but it also pierced his deepest weakness, his love for his kids. Diddy's daughters, Dilla and Jesse, whom he has always said to be the center of his life, had to see their mother in a dead, hollow state, as though she had been a victim of the world their father had created. Their attendance at the trial at the exact moment the video was released highlighted the girls' suffering, which was conveyed by their cries and rushed departure from the courtroom, aroused public skepticism. Why did Kim Porter's kids show up at such a delicate time? The coincidence led to rumors that Diddy was intentionally targeting his weakness, his love for his daughters, while Dilla and Jesse ran away in tears. Instead of following their sisters, Chance and Justin maintained their composure while keeping their icy stares on Diddy. This action left many questioning whether they really believe filming in their father or whether their stern exterior belies a deep-seated skepticism and willingness to face the truth for years. The Combs family has been depicted in the media as a symbol of solidarity, particularly following the passing of Kim Porter, the soul-binding Diddy and his kids. But when Chance and Justin showed up for the trial, their presence was more than just support. Rather, it was a cover for ulterior intentions that suggested a covert power struggle within the family. Chance and Justin's quiet eyes, unaffected by Kim Porter's lineage, revealed what loyalty or sly plan Chance had. When Kim died in 2018, Diddy's daughter with Sarah Chapman, who was not Kim's child, grew up on the brink of agony and drifted alone without any loving memories of her mother. Children held on to treasured memories, but Chance was left with nothing but a shiver of loneliness. Images of Diddy spoiling Kim's kids in the media caused Chance to feel a mysterious pain that made her a shadow in their times. With a steely resolve unbowed by grief, Justin, Diddy's eldest son with Misa Halton, forged himself into a cold, shrewd strategist who saw the Combs family as a chessboard of power. Justin mastered Diddy's game by navigating cruel trials and scandals that were kept under wraps to protect the family's reputation beneath his polished exterior. Those scars shaped him into an unlike Chance. A master player is always ready to turn the table. Instead of giving in to pain, Justin sharpened his skills by paying attention to the unwritten norms of the family. As a young man, he witnessed Kim's kids enjoy a mother's love that he had never experienced before. But instead of feeling jealous, he learned to read Diddy as a father. Diddy loved his kids and pushed them, especially Justin, with cryptic assignments and intense competitions. Diddy allegedly covered up Justin's troubles to preserve their reputation. But those unspoken scars made Justin a crafty tactician who was constantly waiting for the right opportunity to change the game's structure. What motivated Kim Porter's children, who had always obeyed their father, to disobey his orders and show up on the day a damning video was released? Word had leaked that Diddy had strictly prohibited any family members from attending, a calculated move to protect his reputation and shield his children from painful revelations. However, when the three daughters took their places in the front row alongside Justin and Janice, their arrival stunned onlookers. They had secretly planned to face Diddy, their true intentions unknown, each with scars and goals. In the months preceding the trial, Justin approached Chance not as a consoling brother, but as a wellspring of uncertainty. "Have you ever wondered who Dad really is?" he asked in a private conversation, his voice low but piercing. Justin's keen intuition had long recognized Chance's vulnerability. Seeing in his sensitive sister a sense of abandonment that was the key to starting a rebellion, he told tales. Though hesitant, Chance couldn't resist Justin's revelations and reached out to Delilah and Jessie, the sister she'd always felt distant from in late-night calls. Her voice was shaking as she urged, "We need to be together." Chance had never heard of Diddy's manipulation of those around him or of Kim Porter, the mother they idolized, who may have been caught up in circumstances beyond her control. Because of his words, Chance began to question the father she revered. Therefore, Dad, but also to comprehend the truth of what transpired. Without bringing up the video or Justin's revelations, her sincerity convinced her sisters, Jessie and Delilah, to go in spite of their hesitation because she thought it would help their father, even though they were unaware of it. Though Justin's actual goal, power, or reality remained a mystery. Chance, under Justin's guidance, had unintentionally become a part of a bigger plot. Behind the scenes, Justin's manipulations went beyond convincing Chance. Rumors surfaced that he arranged for Samantha Klein, Cassie Venter's attorney, to receive the 2018 White Party archive video. The video showing Kim Porter in a vulnerable state at a white party was not discovered at random. According to reliable sources, Justin used his network of allies to get the footage to Cassie, making it a crucial piece of evidence. However, he proceeded cautiously, fully aware of Diddy's devoted inner circle, who were prepared to defend him at all costs to protect Cassie and her husband. Alex, fine. It's still theoretical, but Justin apparently set up discreet security. He used an encrypted app to text a pal, and he is the only one who can say the truth. As the trial progressed, anxiety seized the room as Cassie took the stand, recalling years of being controlled by Diddy. Threats and abuse that left her terrified that he wanted her all to himself. Her voice was low but sharp, captivating the jurors. His tone was cold but determined if the allegations were true. Sitting in the front row, Jessie and Delilah were both dealing with personal issues. Chance concealed her uneasiness, which was divided between her allegiance to her father and the reality that Justin had disclosed. Jessie and Delilah looked at their father in ignorance, love only to flinch in fear as the movie rolled. When the White Party archive was shown, the screen showed a beach home with neon lights flickering and tumultuous people, including their mother, Kim Porter. They lingered on Chance and Justin, sensing their foreknowledge, but her steely face met her father's gaze, her unflinching eyes demanding answers. Delilah and Jessie, frozen in shock, fled sobbing, their cries echoing like a blade through the hall. Diddy leaped up, roaring to stop the video, his eyes blazing. Justin's arms were crossed as he stood motionless, unfazed by Diddy's. He felt anger and a sickening sense of satisfaction when his father's empire collapsed due to revealed lies. But a deep-seated pain persisted where a sliver of affection for the father he had once admired still flickered, separating him from justice and the pain of betraying ex's blood. The public was abuzz with rumors, and the hashtags #SKImporterTruth and #DiddySecrets trended, praising Cassie's bravery and breaking the silence. However, Kim Porter's video raised doubts about why Chance and Justin did not insure Kim's children. The presence of their sister, the trial of Diddy, transcends a mere legal battle. It serves as a stark warning about power manipulation and the secrets lurking beneath the glamour of the entertainment world. One comment on X suggested that Justin took advantage of Chance's emotional wounds to exact revenge on Diddy because he craves power and wants truth. Cassie Ventura's testimony, supported by the Freakout video, laid bare a realm where did reign supreme, turning figures like Cassie and Kim Porter into instruments of his ambition, the painstakingly executed. Freak-offs were more than just parties. Their oppressive atmosphere served as a symbol of Diddy's total dominance over everyone around him. When Kim Porter's image appeared in the video, Diddy's daughters Chance, Jessie, and Delilah must face the terrifying possibility that their mother was lured into a sinister underworld by the father they once admired. While Chance and Justin's stoic demeanor raised doubts about whether they really believed in their own abilities. Delilah and Jessie's agonized sobbing as they left the courtroom attested to the wounds caused by these discoveries. Father, or are they hiding personal objectives as the trial continues and the public waits for answers to further in-depth queries? Were the freak-offs just a part of an extravagant lifestyle, or proof of a well-planned criminal organization? More importantly, did Kim Porter try to hide these unanswered questions, or was his death actually an accident? Cast a long shadow, making it difficult for the world to discover the truth about the guy who was once hailed as a cultural star.